Hey everyone, welcome to the Beez podcast. This is episode 9, I believe. My name is Jess and I will be your host today on this dreary Tuesday morning at about 9:37. Okay, just to get it out of the way, if you want to find me on the internet, I'm on Instagram, Ravelry. We have a Ravelry group. If you want all the information will be in the down bar for you, so I don't know, tell you things you don't want to know if you don't care. All the show notes from this episode will also be in the Ravelry group, so come join us. We've got a little group over there and come hang out. Let's just say I'm a lot. This will probably be a quick episode. I don't have a lot to show you guys this week. There are exactly 0 finished objects this time. I do have 3 different work in progresses to share with you though, so we'll just get on to that part. I'll start with my oldest work in progress, which if you remember from a million of the podcasts, there's this green yarn that I've been working on making into a sweater since January. And I got one sleeve done because Rebecca, why do I feel like, I think that's right. Oh my goodness. Total brain fart. From the Mean Girls podcast, which if you haven't watched them, go check them out. Also, side note, they did a surprise little giveaway and I won it. They did a random pick of YouTube comments and I won. So I got myself a gift card for Etsy and I'm gonna buy myself some yarn with it. I just am not sure what exactly I want to buy yet. So I'm holding on to that until I come to a decision or find something I just have to have. You know how like there's things you like and you keep waiting for them, but then all of a sudden there's that skein you like have to have it? That's what I'm gonna use it for. So this is the Brick Sweater by, if I remember correctly, Claire Lee, and I will put it in the show notes and all that stuff. It's just like a regular raglan top down pullover. All you see is a swath of green. So I finished the first sleeve, and then I finally, apparently some people don't like that clicking needle sound, so I'll try not to do it. And I'm this far, I'm about 45 rows in. I have a lot more to go. My goal is to finish this week. It really is not impossible. It's not even like a stretch goal. Like, I should be able to get this done. A few nights of knitting while Nate's playing Blue Dragon. I should be able to finish this. Or even just watching movies. I should be able to finish this week. Hold me to it. My next whip is, if you remember from all of the most recent ones, this wine-colored yarn, which, honestly, I don't need to keep telling you what it is. I feel like, you know, if you want to know, it's in the show notes. It's not really that exciting. So, I was working on the Rock Creek sweater by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knits. Look at that. A whole bunch of knitting has been done. The last time we talked, I was where the stitch marker was. So I didn't make a ton of progress this week, but I have good reason. One of which is because I started on those sleeves again of that sweater, and I feel like it needs to get done before I can finish this one, because I would feel really bad if I started a sweater for Nate in January and didn't finish it, and then started a sweater for myself and finished it in like a month. So I thought I'd put this on hold. Last episode, I kind of gushed over the pattern, and how much I was liking it. I'm still loving knitting it. I like the seed stitch because it's interesting, but you don't have to pay attention. I want to be ready to work on a different part because I'm so excited to do the construction of the sweater. It's nothing I've done before. To be fair, there's a lot I haven't done before. I'm sorry if I poke my eye a lot. When I put mascara on, I poked myself in the eye with the wand, and it is... Oh, do you just hate when that happens? I hate it so much. But no, I still love this pattern just as much as when I was gushing on it. I cannot wait to have this sweater to wear it, which is why I want it done. Just as a little note for you guys, if you haven't seen the podcast where I shared all of the patterns that I bought from her, I bought if I can remember, I bought the Sunset Highway sweater because that's been making the rounds and it obviously should be. It's gorgeous. I purchased the Rock Creek sweater, which I'm working on. I think the other one's called Little Cabin. It will be in the show notes because I can't remember and I didn't write it down. Why don't I think about these things before I record? And then 4. The Tegna, sure that's how you say it. I don't know, I just make things up. Sweater I purchased the pattern for. And then she just released another pattern. Maybe I'll insert a picture if I can. It will be in the show notes. I bought it. It is 20% off of that specific pattern until the 12th, if I remember correctly. So scurry your little butt over, go check out the pattern, and if you like it, buy it. It's so pretty, and I hear rumblings of maybe a knit along for it, and truly, I just want to knit it anyway. So I want to finish up Nate's sweater. I want to at least make good progress on the sweater I'm working on. Maybe finish a pair of socks since I've got 2 socks on the needles and 1 pair I haven't worked on in a couple weeks now. I think it's been like 3 weeks since I've touched my speckled space socks, not because I don't like them, but because I have other stuff to do and they're like a total personal thing. To be fair, so is the next whip because I'm doing them for the Pin Feathers and Pearls from Candace's, what is going on? Could I even talk today? The next pair I'm going to show you are for Candace of Pin Feathers and Pearls. There we go. Her mint along. Grab yourself some mint yarn and knit yourself something up and join her knit along. So that's what that's for. So they kind of got pushed to the side, and it's not that I don't love them, it's just that I have a couple other things that I want to get done. I'm just not in a hurry to get the other ones done because I was enjoying working on them, and also they kind of take a lot of brain power. And I just don't have the space for the brain power right now. Also, I also trying to get everything done because what I'm planning on doing is ordering some yarn, dyeing it up for that sweater, and then I will have a fancy sweater that made out of my own hand-dyed yarn. And what's interesting is that it will be also my first fingering weight adult size sweater, and I feel like it's a little stupid of me, maybe exceptionally ambitious, to knit myself a full size, pretty sure it's not cropped, sweater out of fingering for myself. I have a bad habit of not finishing certain projects for myself. I like to sew. I always cut out the pattern, cut out the pieces, start fitting it, and then never finish it because for some reason I feel like I don't deserve it to be finished or something, or like I shouldn't finish it, I'll need to make more alterations, and it's like this whole thing, and it's really stupid. So I'm hoping that I don't get hit by that kind of diseased thinking about making that sweater for myself. I don't know. I just feel like the amount of work and yarn that goes into a fingering weight sweater for my plus size body sometimes is more than I want to put into it for myself. I don't know. Do any of you ever, my bangs are crazy today, ever feel like that about things for yourself even? Not even if you're larger, so you just don't want to put in that, because it takes a long time to knit a sweater in the first place. The larger you are, the more time it takes to knit the sweater, plus the more yarn it takes to knit a sweater. And if you haven't noticed, we're kind of cheap, but it's because I stay home and I'm not working. So, well, we would be cheap anyway, let's be honest. So it's kind of hard sometimes to be like, I wouldn't spend that kind of money at a store for a sweater. Why would I spend that kind of money to make myself a sweater? I don't know. So that's kind of like a weird thing, a tangent that you really didn't need to know. But I told you. Also, I forgot to show you, if you saw on Instagram, I blocked my Normal Into shawl. Let me take it off. And it grew a little. I didn't I wouldn't say I aggressively blocked it, but it definitely makes the garter more even. You can actually see without me pulling the lace now, so that's nice. And I decided to block it so that, I mean, if you're doing the work for the picot edge, you may as well block it so that the little nubbins stick out. So I pulled them out, let it block, and now that I've washed and blocked it, since if you remember from the last podcast, I just dropped it in the abyss, but no, this is, I mean, it is quite a nice, beautiful scarf now. If you remember, I dropped it in that dusty abyss, so I couldn't wear it until I fixed it because of my allergies. So that was a whole thing. Anyways, so that's what I'm wearing since I can. And good. Look at that. Oh, this little tail. I kind of feel like this skinny tail is a little longer than it should be because I like for the point to be in the center-ish area, and I feel like if I wrap it so that I'm not afraid it's going to fall off, it kind of goes to this side. Meh. It's still pretty. You just kind of tuck that baby in there and you can't see it anyway. So there you go. That was something new that I did this last week, and I think it turned out perfectly. It made this scarf so much nicer now that you can actually see the details in it. Okay. Oh, one more whip. That's what I'm very scatterbrained today. I am all over the place today, and I would apologize, but I feel like this is a very common occurrence, and if you didn't like it, you wouldn't be watching. I just dropped my cable needle. I'll pick it up in a minute. I don't want to knock it. So in this little like makeup travel bag at Target is the perfect size for a sock project. You can fit in your skein of yarn and some socks. And let me see, where do I want to start? Okay, this is going to be a Beez Knits yarn update info mixed with a whip because I'm using my own yarn and they're new colors that you may not have seen yet. For the contrast, because you know I love my contrast toes, heels, and cuffs, we're doing this. And this color is just like a tonal beet-esque color. I do have not quite a name for it. I've got a couple. I might put like a little poll out for you guys if you wanted to help me name it. Might put it on Instagram in the Ravelry group and maybe underneath this video. I was going to use a beet related pun. And it's just a tonal yarn. It's the first like tonal yarn that I'll probably be putting in the shop. Excuse me. And then for the pièce de résistance, the main color, which is minty because it's for the mint along. I've got some shadows going on here. This is called Lake Monsters in Love. It is a minty green with some hot pink splashes throughout. And then there are some brown and navy speckles in it, if you can see. There are better pictures on Ravelry if you would like to see it. This will definitely be going in the shop. I'm getting closer to deciding how I want to like do the, I don't know if I'll even do a grand opening to say, but what colors I want to have in the shop when I'm definitely open. I want to have maybe these to do like a little kit to make your own socks. I'm thinking maybe the mint and then like a beet colored mini. I want to put in Road Trip. I'm thinking about putting in fireflies, which is what lightning bugs, which I've been using for the speckled space socks. Maybe a couple other colors. I don't want to be exceptionally overwhelmed. To be fair, I probably won't be overwhelmed. But I just want to make it easy on myself. And then the less colors I have, the more I can either have pre-done or dye up faster to send out to you guys when I do it. I'm getting ready to, like I said, purchase some yarn because I want to make a sweater quantity of yarn for myself anyway, so I feel like it's not going to be a big like update as the opening. I'm thinking it's going to be very soft in that respect. I'm thinking maybe only a couple skeins of each color that I want to put out. Maybe I'll just make a couple sock kits. So you'll get like a full-size skein of, say, like the Lake Monsters in Love and a mini of the beet color, for example, since we were just talking about that and that's what I'm using. And maybe do like a couple of those. I'm not so sure yet. Tell me what you think. I'm thinking about just doing a fingering update for the first one because that's what I've been working with lately. That's what I'm going to buy for the sweater. And just for me, I think that'll be easier just to start there. I do want to expand into worsted weight, maybe some DK, but I'm going to start with just some sock yarn. Okay, unrelated, we're away from the business stuff because I'm sure that's not what you're here for, but I can't help myself. And here is my last whip. And you may have seen it before, but they are the Clark socks. Let me get nice and close for you here. So here's the front. And these are, like I said, the Clark socks by Jacqueline Salem from Brooklyn Knit Folk. It has this gorgeous cable right in the center of this braid. And these beautiful pearl bumps at an angle here. And then, yes, I'm doing 2 at a time-ish on 9-inch circulars. And on the back, let me just get in here, is this just delicate little cable down the back. And that's it. So I don't remember who it was that was talking about how easy this pattern was and that they had it memorized. And I was like, you've got to be joking me. Like, it looks so complicated. And I know cables, they're not complicated, but it looks visually like you've got a ton going on here. You know, you've got to keep track of this, because not only do you have, you know, your cables going this way, you have cables going this way, so you've got to remember that. You've got these bumps on both sides that you have to do, plus the cable on the back, and you're just like, no, I cannot keep this separated in my head. Yes, you can. Once I started doing it, it is so easy to memorize. It's an 8-row repeat, and you really just have to remember row 2 and row 6. I don't believe I'm giving much away. That's about all I'm going to say about that. But the genius in the pattern is that what stitch your purl bump is, so these guys right here, tells you what row you're in of the repeat. So if you're on, you know, if you do the first stitch of the pattern as your purl, you're in row 1. Your 7th one, row 7. And so if you can remember literally to just every row, move it over so you know what row you're on, and then you remember row 2 and row 6, you don't need to use the written pattern to do all of this. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 repeats in total of the pattern, because I'm doing 2 at a time, and I've only looked at the pattern for maybe 4 of them at the most, because when, you know, you get started, you don't know. But I really thought the person was full of beans, totally lying to me about how easy this was. They're not kidding. So easy. And so that's why I haven't worked on the speckled space socks at all since I picked these up, because I've been obsessively, I kind of called Kaputski Sunday, but during the week when I cast them on, probably Thursday or Friday, I was obsessively knitting on them, and I didn't even need the patterns. I was just, you know, knitting around and working on it, working my little booty off, my little tootie. See, I can't talk today already. But yeah, I mean, I'm already this far in from maybe 3 days worth of work, and wanted to give my hands a break, and so I thought I'd work on some bigger needles with some thicker yarn. And I mean, that's really the magic of it, is that you can have a couple projects going. Because I have, you know, my dirt simple easy project, the sleeve. I've got a little more difficult one, you know, the Brock Creek with the seed stitch. A little bit harder, the socks. And then, you know, the toughest one I'm working on, the most brain intensive one, speckled space socks. So depending on if I want to watch something, if I want to talk with people, if I just want to have like a lazy day, or if I want to really work on something, I've got a couple projects that can, you know, kind of deal with whatever fancy or whim I've got going on. So I appreciate that. That's all the knitting and yarn related stuff. Sorry that I put some yarn business stuff in with the whip, but it was related. I don't know. Why should I apologize? It's my podcast. Some people would disagree with that. So yeah, and I'll say a lot today because I feel out of practice, and quite honestly, because I stay home and I haven't talked to anyone yet today. This is the most talking I've done all day. In the morning, it's a few words here and there, you know, just, I'm not having a big conversation, getting Nate ready for work, sending him off. And then I don't say anything until right now. Just means I'm thinking. should not say that. I know that I should not say that. I should just be quiet. I can't stop looking at these. I can't. I love them so much. I have been dying to cast on this pattern since I saw it. If you don't know me, when I first started knitting, I was obsessed with colorwork and cables. And I haven't done a lot of colorwork lately, but starting the Speckled Space Socks got me ready to do these because I'm like, I got the cable needle out. Because yes, I use the cable needle for the Speckled Space Socks. You don't need to. There is a way to cable without it, especially if you're only doing a few stitches. So that's really up to you how you prefer to do it. But I was just like, I had the bug. I had a cable bug before because there was a hat that I tried to cast on, and the yarn was sticking, like it was just really sticky, and I felt like it was sticking to my hands, and it wasn't gliding nicely, and the cables were not turning out right. And then I made a mistake, so I ripped the whole thing out. I would like to try to cast on that hat again. I think it's a Pearl Soho Traveling Cables hat, I think it's called. Now I'm just making stuff up, but I want to try to cast it on again sometime. I thought it was a really nice looking hat. I love cables. I just love them. I love cables and colorwork. They're my two favorite things. A close second to those being tied for first is using pearls to make the design. I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say about much of anything. I think that's why I want to do one of the colorwork sweaters that have been very popular lately, because I'm just dying to do some color work. And I prefer Fair Isle. I think it looks classy. I think it's easier to do because I'm lazy. You don't have to do as much yarn management, you know what I mean? Like with the twisted strings and such. So that's, kind of where I'm at. What is your, we'll say, like, attribute, speaking of like Ravelry speak, that you are always looking for something? Like, do you prefer a top-down sweater? Do you specifically want raglan sleeves? Do you love color work? Are you cable obsessed right now? Lace. Are you into lace? Garter? What do you like? I'm just nosy. I just want to know, like, what that one thing gets you to, like, love a pattern. And you just are like, I need it as soon as you see whatever that one thing you love to do is. And let's see. That is all of the yarny stuff for real. We only watched one movie this week. It's on Netflix. It's called Sinbad, The Fifth Voyage. Let's see. It's less than an hour and a half. It's got some claymation, some CGI in there. It's very Jason and the Argonauts, like the old movies that I used to watch. I liked it. I would like to say that movie could have been longer. I feel like they left out parts of the story. Like, they cut it in a weird way. It was edited. The story was edited down strangely. We're left with questions that I feel like they could have filled in just a little. It was a little confusing. Disjointed might be the word I'm looking for that. But I would still suggest it to watch. I really... why am I saying so much? Now that I say I'm aware of every single and like that I've said today. I would suggest this movie if you enjoy the look of the claymation monsters. Also, it's not long. If you don't like it, you're not even investing that much time in it. I enjoyed it. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of campy, but in a good way. It's not super cheesy. I don't know. That's up to you. But that's the only movie that I've watched this week. And that's all I have to say. Let's see. Nothing new here. No, really nothing. We're very boring people. I don't know. I'll just make a weird face at you until I think of something. No, I don't. We started watching This Is Us because it started up again, and Criminal Minds, and the first two episodes have been... The first episode of Criminal Minds really got me. Second one's a little better, kind of settling in, feels more normal. This Is Us, I cry every freaking episode. If you don't like to cry, don't bother watching it. I've also been watching Madam Secretary. I haven't finished that. Oh, and How to Get Away with Murder started up again, and I enjoy that. I feel like there's something else I should talk about, but I do not know. I'm trying to think if there's any new podcasts I've been watching, and off the top of my head, I can't think of any. I was looking at my laptop in case you were curious. So, I guess we'll leave it there. This is going to be a short one. It's under half an hour, which I think you will appreciate. So, I will leave a little poll somewhere for you guys. Again, even though I am a half an hour in basically, and I forgot to say this before, if you are a new viewer, thank you so much. If you got this far, thank you for watching this far. It's, I don't know. I always feel guilty when I post these. I'm like, I could do better, but I don't think I can do better. I think this is it. This is as good as it gets, guys. So if you're a new viewer, thank you for stumbling across it and going this far into the podcast with me. If you're a returning viewer and if you've made it this far, thank you so much for coming back. Consistently watching these videos with me, having interactions with me via YouTube or Ravelry or Instagram. I really appreciate it. It is, I want to say, like, such like a blessing. I don't normally use that word, especially in these instances, but it's so nice to be able to connect with all kinds of people, and I love it. So, I guess that is it. I will leave you there. Also, for all of you Canadians who are watching, I heard you had Thanksgiving recently. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and for all of you other people who are watching, I hope you had just a great general weekend, and thank you for watching, and I will see you probably next week, hopefully, with the brick sweater done, and maybe the Clark socks done. Ooh. I don't know why I did this. I was just testing the phone. It seems off now. Ugh, I'm sorry. I'll let you go, and I will see you next week. Bye!